What's going on, everybody? All right, so I've had this 710 for over a month now, and um, I've kind of actually put it away, believe it or not. Go ahead and turn it on. I actually don't really use it that much. So I've tried the wired mouse, and it works. But it's not very accurate, and it kind of moves around. And I've tried the monitor. It's not very good resolution. We've all seen that. I think that the digital noise reduction is amazing on this radio. There's a bunch of things I really don't like about it. One is this thing here. Your shift and width and notch and contour are all on this one knob. And then you gotta go in and adjust it for each one. And the way that it works, it's hard to explain, but it's really not good. We have to wait for it to stop blinking, push it again to go over the notch, or we have to touch it on the screen. And it doesn't always, see how it doesn't always, in fact I think it has to be pushed twice. But I don't care for that at all. I also don't care for the band stack. Now, I'm going to do the band stack. I have to go back in and I'm used to a radio that has a button for the band, like the 756 Pro. You just push the band, push it again, push it again, push it again, and you jump from band stacks. That's all solar noise. Nothing I can do about that right now, except for turn it off. But the radio is nice for the price. I think it's probably really the best thing that you're gonna get. But there's no SWR scanner. I mean, even the G90 has that on it. The menu is kind of nice because it's all like on this page here and whatnot. But let me go turn this crap off. Ah, no. Not that guy. So, we have the level of the waterfall, the peak, the marker, the color, you can change all that, the contrast, the dimmer, I don't know what the memory group is, mic gain, EQ, processor level, Vox delay, RF power meter. So out of the box, this thing sounds like crap. The EQ is terrible for this microphone. It's going to sound like you're muddy, and if you have a bassy voice, it's going to sound really bad. The extra speaker thing is kind of cool, but it sort of sounds bassy, even if you change the frequency of it. But it's cool. It's kind of like some hi-fi type of crap for all you extra wide sideband guys, which I don't appreciate either. I don't really, yeah, I'm not going to get into all that anyway. CW stuff. I have not tried the message thing. I don't know what this TRXW is. But the radio is cool, but it's very stripped down in a lot of ways. It's very very basic. The audio on it is not good. It'll never sound as good as the 7300, no matter how much you play with the stupid thing. You will never get it to sound like that out of the box. It sounds really really bad. My friend has one, and he has a 7300, and I can always tell when he's on a 7300. The radio can sound good once you set it up, but I mean, like, you're just never ever going to achieve that, and the reason is because of the circuit inside the radio. Certain radios just sound great, and this is not one of them. Okay? This is like the Kenwood 570. It's 2.4 wide, it's narrow, it's, if you off frequency a little bit, it sounds really bad. This is, not a great sounding radio, not a bad sounding radio, it's just very average. But out of the box, it is terrible sounding. I can hear these guys all the time on 710s, FTDX10s, 991As. They all sound the same. They sound like crap on the stock hand microphone without any audio changes. And the radio shouldn't sound that bad. I mean, if a bunch of idiots at ICOM can figure it out, then these guys can too. So it's just, hey, we don't need all this parametric EQ crap. If you want that, go buy a 5000, go buy a 101. Like, just make it simple. The radio is already very basic entry level. Put a 3-band EQ on it without all this parametric crap. Make it sound good coming out of the box. Make the microphone that it comes with sound good. If you put this microphone on another radio, it sounds like crap. This microphone is garbage. If you put an MD100 on this radio, it's not too bad. Okay? But it's not great either. So, I don't know what YAESU has been up to, or, whatever. And, I mean, there's people that will argue with me about this, but, like, I mean, honestly, I really don't think it's a great radio, to be honest, because it sounds like crap. The receiver is great, but somebody else has to listen to your crappy audio. So, and there's no reason that it sounds the way that it does. They must have cut some corners, or they must have did something weird in the audio chain, and they must have, like, put so much emphasis on the bass end. And I've heard bassy radios that sounded good, and this one is not one of those. It just sounds kind of more muffled. So, I don't know what went wrong, but I don't know if I would really encourage people to buy this radio, other than the price is pretty amazing, and the 7300 is honestly pretty long in the tooth. The other thing is, I'm not an audio aficionado, but I would agree with the people that nobody's going to use this for excellent sounding audio. This isn't going to be the radio they're going to buy. It probably does not sound good on AM, whereas the 7300 actually sounds good on AM. So the AM guys, some of them use 7300s. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say here is I'm a little disappointed with the radio, and it's a little bit too small, and it's not portable. I don't care if it's called a field. They gave me something that resembles a miniature seat belt, and just give me a regular handle. Don't give me something that, so, and of course, right after I bought it, it goes on sale for another $100 less, and HRO wouldn't give me the discount, even though I was within 30 days. So he said, well, it's because it's a YAESU promotional. I was like, no. YAESU gave a $200 coupon off on it, and when Black Friday all happened, it was HRO giving another additional $100 on top of their $100 that they had. It didn't have anything to do with YAESU. But I don't feel like arguing with them. And maybe if I make enough videos about the radio, I will eventually pay for it. I don't know. But It's your choice. It's your decision. If you want a cheap entry level radio, I probably can't recommend the 7300 just because it's too old, and because the finals burn out in it, and other things. But there's a couple of other things to nitpick on this. The tuner does not work in receive. If you are operating portable, Parks on the Air, Soda, POTA, whatever the hell, and you have a antenna that's 3-to-1, and you tune this, it will tune it. But your receive will still be that of a 3-to-1 antenna. Your audio level will not increase when you tune the radio to resonance. Okay? I understand that the feed line is still mismatched and this and that, but on a regular radio with a regular automatic antenna tuner, it tunes the radio and transmit, and then the tuner is in line on receive, and it allows you to improve your signals that you hear. Okay, this radio does not do this. The 991A does not do this. The FTDX10 does not do this. It is absolutely the worst mistake that a company could ever make on a radio. You went through the trouble of putting an automatic antenna tuner in here, and it does not work on receive. It is in bypass on receive. What in the hell? So, and that is not something that can be fixed with software. It is hardware related. They didn't want to add another relay. Bunch of cheap bastards. So, that really sucks. So, I don't really, care about the tuner in here. It's not very good anyways, but it would be nice if I was to take it portable, that I could actually, use the tuner and be able to pull out weak signals that I can't hear. But you're not going to do that with this radio. You're going to need an outboard tuner if you want to benefit from that. Or you're going to have a resonant antenna. So, what else is wrong with this thing? I don't know. There's a few other things. DVI connector. It's 2023. This radio came out in 2022. You can't even hardly buy anything with a DVI connector on it anymore. And if you use a DVI to HDMI adapter on this radio or the FTDX10, you will eventually burn out your video card in the radio. I don't care how long you've been using it. You tell me it works great. Yeah, eventually, if you are hooking this up to a television, you are going to burn out that thing in the back, because HDMI is two ways. It sends electricity back and forth through the card, and eventually you're going to ruin this radio. And if you don't believe me, just keep running it, and eventually you'll find out in about 9 months to 2 years. So, if you use a DVI to DVI, you'll never have that problem. If you use a one-way DVI to HDMI adapter, you won't have that problem, likely. What it is this TV, like this TV in front of here, it's HDMI. It has backwards HDMI. That way, if you hook it to something else, it can, like, for example, send the audio from the television tuner in the TV through the HDMI to your home theater stereo that has HDMI inputs. Okay? I forget what they call it, ARC or whatever, but anyway. So, from time to time, the HDMI sends commands back and forth through the HDMI cable in the form of electric pulses. 5 volt, 7 volt, 9 volt, I don't know what they are, but that's why people are burning up their card in their radios. And they send it back to YAESU. And YAESU is getting so tired of it that they're probably not going to repair it for free anymore. So, if you call YAESU and talk to them on the phone, you get like Roger on the phone or somebody, they will tell you there's a specific one that they recommend. It's kind of like a box, and it goes from DVI on the radio to multiple other formats out, and I think it requires to be powered, and that's what they recommend. So you can try that. I figure I don't really care too much about it, so I actually have the I've got an actual dedicated like 27-inch monitor over there. But anyway, I mean, I think it's a nice looking radio. And the resolution on the scope is really good compared to the 7300. But once you hook it to a monitor, it's really not that good. In fact, let me go turn the heater down, and I'll be right back. I will plug it in, and I will show you why I don't have it plugged in. Okay, here we go here. Hey, let's go and zoom in on this ding dong. Span. Another thing is this kind of goofy. You have to like toggle through it, put it where you want it. All right, so let's go over here to our monitor. Okay. You see how pixelated this is. Let's change our span. Let's go back to where we were. See that? It's really it loses a lot of resolution on the monitor. I mean, it's cool, but it's not what you'd expect. I don't know if the FTDX10 and the 101 are this bad. You know, the resolution on the radio itself is real sharp, in my opinion. It's really good, you know. But I don't know, man. You know, it's kind of like, should it really lose that much? Why did they use a DVI connector in the first place? Is a DVI connector capable of doing what an HDMI can do? And why not use an HDMI even if you don't transport the sound out? But I mean, think about it. They could have done that too. They have HDMI and have sound come out of the HDMI, and you hook it up to your, you know, big screen TV and have audio and video. I bought the radio and I was thinking about doing that, and I didn't realize that it, you know, I didn't know that they had these issues with the boards burning out on them. So, in fact, the dipshit down there at Phoenix HRO, the manager, told me to use an HDMI to DVI cable straight through, which of course YAESU told me, yeah, you'll burn your radio up doing that. So the guy at HRO is telling all the people that buy this radio to go get this cable off of Amazon, and in turn he's going to give them advice, and they're going to believe that he is correct because he works for Ham Radio Outlet and he is the manager. And so they're going to go get that cable and they're going to hook this radio up to it if they don't know any better. And then the card in the back of the radio is going to burn up. And it doesn't do it, it's not going to do it like the first time you hook it up. And it possibly won't ever do it if you're using just a monitor, because usually monitors don't send any kind of two-way command back up through HDMI. It's TVs that do that. You know, they try and share their audio and things like that. So, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on the 710. I think that the FTDX10 is way overpriced. I think the 101 is way overpriced. I think almost all ham radios that are coming out today are absolutely well overpriced for what it costs for them to make them. It can't possibly cost them any more money to make a ham radio, especially software defined, than it does to make a home theater stereo that you would go buy at Best Buy for $500 to $1,000. Yet these things are $3,000 to $4,000 for some nice ones. And It just doesn't make sense. When you go buy a new IC710 or a 70, what is it, the 7610? Okay, 7610, and then have your fancy display burn out on you. You've just spent $3,500 on a radio and the display goes out. I mean, how does that make you feel? I mean, don't you feel like you've been taken advantage of? You paid this really exorbitant high price for a radio already, and then it's not even quality either. So, and they've been beating us up on prices for so many years that they come along with a radio like this or 7300 and we think it's a steal of a deal when it should be like $500, and it's not. You know, it's we've been trained and accustomed as a a society to believe that this is how it is and this is what we should have to pay, while these guys make like 75% markup on these radios. So honestly, I just kind of prefer using my old stuff, really. And if something goes wrong with it, usually I can fix it, unless it's a Kenwood 940. Of course, actually that thing's still working. So we'll catch you guys later. This has been another installation of my rambling.